All right, ladies and gents, we are on to lesson 17, module 5. We are almost halfway through this module, and our objective today is using visual models to add and subtract two fractions with the same units, including subtracting from one whole. We're going to start off with this problem. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write this down, and I want you to convert the 1 so that it works with my 3/8. How can I convert this 1 so that it represents a whole, but it's dealing with eighths? Go ahead and pause and see if you can figure that out. Hopefully you figured out that the 1 is the same as 8/8, and since we were dealing with eighths, that was the way to go. 7/7, not going to help us with our eighths. So now I have 8/8 minus 3/8. And what you could do is you could actually work on a number line to subtract. So go ahead and pause while you draw a number line broken up into eighths. This is what you should have come up with. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at our 8/8 point. We're going to subtract 3/8. So start at your 8/8 and go ahead back 3/8. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. So you should have ended up with 8/8 minus 3/8 is 5/8. We can do addition by starting at 5/8 and adding up 3/8 to see if we are correct. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Hey, look at that. Here's your next problem. If you need to use a number line, you can. If you don't need to, that's fine. I want you to figure out what 1 minus 2/5 is by decomposing that 1 into a whole that will help you. So into a fraction that represents a whole that will help you. Remember, we're dealing with fifths. Go ahead and figure that out. Pause while you do this. You should have taken your 1 and broken it into 5/5 because that's your whole. And we're dealing with fifths. We want the same denominator. So 5/5 minus 2/5, I got 3/5. And there's my number line to prove it. The next problem we're going to look at is an equation. 1 minus 2/3 equals x. What I'd like you guys to do is I'd like you to draw a number bond with your 1 as a whole, 2/3, and x as your parts. And we're going to figure out ways we can actually solve this. There are 4 number sentences that we can use. And I'm going to start you off with starting with our whole minus our part equals our x. Whole minus a part equals our 2/3. Go ahead and switch that around and do 2 addition ones that can also be used to solve for x. Good luck. These are the 2 addition ones you should have gotten. You're adding 2 parts to make up a whole. And then I've got my number line. And right now, Cody is yelling at me because my space here in the middle is too big, and I just talked to her about that the other day. Sorry, Morgan. I know I have 2/3, and I know I need to get to a whole. Well, this is my whole. How much should I jump to get there? What would that be? Well, it would be 1/3. So we know that x equals 1/3. I could have also taken my whole and taken away 2/3, like so, and gone back 1/3, 2/3, which also gave me the answer 1/3. So we're going to move on, and this is the problem we're working on now. If you want to go ahead and write that, we have to actually decompose this into 2 parts. And you guys already know how to decompose a whole and a part, but I'm going to go ahead and talk you through it. My 1 whole goes here. My 1/5 goes here. That still doesn't help me. I have to break down this whole even more. I'm going to actually make this look like a 1. What does that whole become? Well, if you said 5/5, you are correct. And then I'm going to put my 1/5 over here because really that's what it is. It's a combination of a whole and the 1/5. So together, what do those equal? Well, they equal 6/5. You could have skipped this step and just made it 5/5, but that's up to you. So now I have 1 1/5 is the same as 6/5. See how I worked through that? And I still want to subtract my 2/5. Go ahead and solve that either using a number or either using a tape model or a number line or just knowing it. Pause while you do it. You should have gotten 4/5. Now the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to draw a tape model. Now this tape model has to be a representative of 5/5 plus 1/5. So remember, your whole is important here. Go ahead and draw that tape model where it represents 5/5 plus 1/5. This is what you should have gotten. These are fifths, and there's another fifth because my whole is bracketing my fifths. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, and 6/5. If I wanted to subtract 2/5, I could just very easily do it this way. What's left? 4/5. That can help you as well. I'm going to show you one other way to do this. This represents one whole because it's fifths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I could have done is I could have just taken my 5/5 and subtracted that 2/5. So 5/5, take away the 2/5. We're going to ignore this little extra piece at the moment. So my whole minus my part. 5/5, take away 2/5. But then I would actually add on that 1/5. So I have 4/5 left. Two different ways to do it. I want you to go ahead and write down this problem and use one of the methods we learned over here to solve this problem. Pause while you do it. If you need help, raise your hand. And when you're done, play and see if you got the right answer. Go ahead and pause. Hopefully, you broke down your 1 into 8/8 because we're dealing with eighths. And one number that's the same on top and bottom equals a whole. I could have said 50 seconds. Or 52 50-seconds. Wouldn't help me with eighths, but it's still worth 1. And I brought down my 3/8. You'll notice by my arrows here. I combined them and I got 11/8. Now, I took that and I subtracted 5/8. Well, I know 11 take away 5 is 6. Since I'm dealing with eighths, it's still eighths. Then I drew a number line just to check myself. I split it into one whole, 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. Each side I cut into eighths because there were 8/8 in a whole, 8/8 in the second whole. I started at 11/8. I went back 5/8. When I went back 5/8, I got the answer of 6/8. Go ahead and find a partner to do your problem set with. Good luck.